Hello and welcome to episode number 3, Gambling with an Edge, and today, long shot odds. We'll start off within 5, 10 to 1 odds, poker, and sports gambling. And then we'll talk about even longer odds, as Harvey Organ recently stated, yeah, silver is going to go to $200 an ounce by the end of the year. What's the odds of that taking place, and how do you play it? And then number 3, the lottery. Multiple millions in one. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's assume you're betting on sports. Say a football game, a large 14, 17 point underdog, and you think they're going to win outright. Or at least they have a decent enough shot, risk reward. Let's say it's a 10 to 1 shot, and you think they got a 15% shot of winning. Excellent. Excellent. I'm gonna put some wagers on that. Okay, so you do that, you got the advantage. But the key when you're betting on underdogs is don't risk as much. If you're normally betting 100 to win 100 on even odd games, we'll bet 10 to win 100 on a 10 to 1 shot, or 20 to win 200. You lower your risk. And then, of course, on the long term, if you're good at handicapping, the advantages or the results should come into play. In poker tournaments, let's assume that you take a standard tournament. Well, generally about 12% of the field is going to pay, which means 88% gets nothing or loses what they bought. Those are long odds. And then when you cash, double, triple, quad your buy-in is the vast majority of your payments or returns that are going to occur. Now, when you're a good poker player, you don't have a 12% chance of cashing. It's higher than that. It's 14, 15, 16%. And the players that aren't as good have a lower percent chance. And when I play these long shot games, what I find is a normal, good strategy is when you're winning big to make these wagers. For example, if you're betting on sports and your bankroll just went up 20%, you've had a great day, let's assume you're up, say, a couple hundred. Well, why not take 10 or 20 of that and maybe find a nice long shot parlay or something that pays 100 to 1 and give it a shot, or something that pays 20 to 1 and give it a shot. Your risk is, as I would look at it, is, okay, so instead of making 400, I bet 20, I make 380. I'm still happy about that. I got a free roll to win bigger. Poker, same thing. You play the cash games, let's assume you're playing the $1, $2 game, you're up 500 or so. Okay, now I'm going to play this $40 tournament. So I'm up 360 now, or 460, but if I could win a plus 40 again to be up 540, I could also win 50 grand too. Other ways of putting it. So the key for me is make sure the game that you play or the bets that you have, you still got the edge on, and that your risk tolerance is in line. Recently, Harvey Organ stated that the price of silver, which is a bullion coin right here, going to $200 per ounce by the end of the year, which is him stating that the dollar would collapse relatively soon. Now, when you think about just that itself, what's the chances the dollar collapses by the end of the year? It ain't good. But what's the chances that it doesn't collapse by the end of the century? That ain't good as well either, especially when you research how our dollar is created. With that being said, what's the odds that it would be $200 by the end of the year? It's high. It's extremely high. It's higher than the number I'm going to give you this, at least according to the bookmakers. I'm going to take SLV, which is contracts for, or the stock market for silver. And I'm going to use the options. I'm going to take what they call a call one. I'm not betting this, I'm just explaining it. Take the call option, and I find the cheapest one available, which from what I seen last night was $40 per ounce, cost you a penny to buy. You got to buy 100 of them in a contract, cost you $1 for a contract. Maybe buy 100 contracts, cost you $100 plus your rake. Now in this situation, if silver does hypothetically go to 200, say at the end of December, then that contract that I spent a penny a share would be worth about the difference of price minus 40, which would be about 160. Okay, and I spent a penny, so that'd be about 16,000 in one odds. But the odds would even be higher than that, because if it doesn't go to 200, say it goes to 50, and you got it in at 40, well now it's $10 difference. That's still 1,000 to 1 odds. So you even win in that spot if it comes close, but not close enough. Now you also have to look at the risk reward and the probability odds. that if I win, what's the chances I get screwed over in some way by playing these paper contracts? After all, Harvey Organ stating, by playing this game, or by this way this game is played, it's because these paper contracts are going to die, basically. And if that's the case, then you might get screwed. You have to look at that in your risk-reward assessment. I do not recommend playing this game. If you're betting it, I 100% recommend buying the physical metal. Next one, final one, the lottery. When I was a kid, I want to know what the odds were of winning the lottery, and well, I figured it out. It was 649 here in Canada. It was 14 million and one. Very simple odds. I would take the do some number crunching, and apparently it's not good. Now, ROI, return on investment on the lottery, you're losing there. But is it a good bet though, even though it's got negative ROI? Well, to explain that, I'm going to use a deck of cards in this example. 52 deck card here. 52 and 1 that you guess this card exactly right with the rank and suit. I'm going to try. Maybe you can try. If you want to try as well, go ahead. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's 52 and 1. I'm going to say 4 of hearts. What is it? 7 of hearts. Close, but not quite. Now, what's the odds of getting it right 6 times in a row? Well, that's 52 to the power of 6, which is 380 million and 1. So my question to you is, would you risk 10 cents to win $3.8 million if you were right? You are getting a negative 90% return on investment by making this play, because fair odds would be getting 38 million, not 3.8. The answer is most likely hell yeah. Risk reward. My risk is 10 cents. The chances of me having the risk occur is pretty much definite. My reward is 3.8 million. The chance of me getting it is pretty much non-existent, but definitely possible. Now I look at it this way. Let's assume that you are worth, individually, your liquid assets, which is all cash you can get pretty much instantly, is worth $3,810,000. Would you risk $3.8 million that some guy is not going to get this right 6 times in a row to win 10 cents? Well, if you're right, you get 10 cents. Your gain is like nothing. Your life's not going to change. But if you lost almost everything you had, your life would change. So there's a spot where as long as what you spend doesn't stop you from changing your life. Oh my God, I can't afford to even buy juice, or I can't even afford to get food on the table. Well, it's a bad bet. If you're already a multi-millionaire and there's not much of a gain, it's not a good bet. But if you are your normal middle-class person and you happen to risk a level which will absolutely not change your life to a second, and the amount you would win would change your life, then it's actually a good bet to make, because you technically now have no risk and you have possible reward, although the likelihood is you're going to lose. But hey, I lose $1 here or $2 here, my life does not change at all. That to me is the basics towards it. Next week, episode number 4, the basics towards money management. What is money? Is this money? I'll explain that next time, but I'll talk it more towards a gambling level. Thank you for tuning in.